Hey Jim, thanks for joining me. As you know, I wanted to ask you a couple of quick and easy questions just to get your view on the Amazon world. So I'm just going to try and keep this as short and sharp as possible. But yeah, please answer with your heart. I'm really interested to know how you're gonna play this out. So first of all, why don't you tell us about what you do in the e-commerce space?
Me personally, I was an FBA seller from 2013. Built up a multi-seven-figure business. Unfortunately, it was in the travel category. So in 2020, I got destroyed by COVID whilst I watched all my bodies take off. And I actually knew Stephanie, who's the CEO at Thrasio. So I spoke to Stephanie. And long story short, I joined Thrasio as Director of Acquisitions at Thrasio in October last year. And if Thrasio, we are acquiring, investing, and scaling brands we come across. Long story short, it's a very simple model. We try and find sellers that are ready to exit. There's lots of different reasons that drive people to exit. Some people have reached a ceiling. Some people want to go off and start a new project. Some people just want to de-risk and take some cash off the table. And they're a bit worried about the whole sort of what could happen tomorrow on the platform. And then our job is to put our team behind it. We're nearly 1,000 people now, unlimited cash, and try and outperform the rest of the market. And providing we keep doing that, we keep raising money. And as you probably read, we've raised $1.7 billion, and it's an amazing story to date. And hopefully we'll keep on delivering on that story.
Yeah, it's certainly a massive bag of cash.
So yeah. Like monopoly. It's like not in my bank account, unfortunately.
Yeah. Well, look, it is definitely a really, really hot space, and I think a lot of our followers and users and the like are pretty interested in this kind of area. But how do you and Thrasio differ from the other aggregators that are out there?
I think the job of an aggregator is to try and put a team and collective expertise onto a brand that allows them to perform better than a sort of typical solopreneur with a small team or a set of a virtual team can deliver. So then the question is, what's the difference between one aggregator and another? I think where we stand out is we've got 25,000 SKUs, 1,000 people. We've got about 120 people pulling the data on all the stuff we're selling, and that data allows us to make decisions that I think allow us to accelerate away from most people. So it's an unfair advantage that you get just by the mass of data that we have to work with. And then we've just got depth and breadth of skill on the bench now that's incredible. We've got Casey Gauss, who's head of SEO. We've got we're pulling in talent from Wayfair, from some of the biggest e-com engines globally, and now sitting in senior leadership roles at Thrasio. So we've just got the combination of data, grey hair, experience. Whether it's from traffic, we've got Snapchat, TikTok, Instagram, Google, Facebook. We've got a direct consumer team. We've got a wholesale and retail team. And we're much more than just an aggregator now. We're an e-com growth engine, omnichannel, omni-marketplace. So yeah, it started off as an aggregation model, but it's become something much, much bigger quite quickly.
Yeah, that's really interesting, because I think that perception of Thrasio being an aggregator kind of still holds true now. I think that's a very interesting way that you guys view yourselves. Just on your point about omni-channel, right? So brings me to my next question. So what is your view on multi-channel selling beyond Amazon?
Look, I mean, our core focus is retail, wholesale, Amazon, direct to consumer. Those are going to be the three pillars. We are selling on on Walmart. We're selling on Etsy. Some stuff comes across as a legacy from the brands we acquire. But honest answer is that for every dollar and every hour invested, we still get, in terms of marketplaces, we still get the best returns on Amazon. It's the biggest customer base. It's you just got to think about where we get the best return on time and dollars spent, and it's still Amazon. Walmart grew really aggressively last year, and there's signs of Walmart potentially coming up as a contender finally. They've been trying for years, but Amazon is still, in terms of marketplaces, that's where we feel that the best return comes from.
Do you think that'll change in the short term?
Depends what you call the short term. Yeah, look, I hope so, right? Everyone wants a viable alternative to Amazon. So I think it will. And, like I said, Walmart is showing signs of being a contender. And then, who knows what's going to happen with the sort of current political posturing in the States. There's all kinds of sort of chest beating around breaking Amazon up, not allowing them to sell their own labels. You've seen in some marketplaces like Brazil where they've got a license to be a marketplace, but they can't sell their own brands. So, there's some marketplaces where they can't actually execute the model they already do in the States. So some of it is down to what the competition can do, and some of it is down to what external forces like the politicians are going to do to Amazon as a machine. So I think it'll change, but I don't see anything dramatic in the next sort of year or 2 years.
Yeah, interesting. It's interesting. And it's interesting as well. I asked you that question while wearing an eBay jumper. Which brings me to my last question. So where do you see marketplace selling evolving to in the next 12 months? So I mean that as, if I go back 12 months, the heat or even the existence of all these aggregators didn't even exist, right? So, here we are, and I just want to know, like, where do you see this whole thing, marketplaces selling in general, evolving to in 12-month kind of time horizon?
I think, in a word, professionalization. Operating on Amazon now is harder than it's ever been, and it seems to be getting harder all the time. So it's been a weird 18 months. So COVID, certain categories aside, which I know very well, a lot of categories have flown. And so it's been exciting in terms of watching sales growth, although that's starting to calm down. And, the comps from a year ago to the last 3 months are dropping off and settling down. But, in short, professionalization, because supply chain, costs have gone crazy. Right now, cost of goods and raw materials in China are shooting up 10 to 80%. So there's going to be more price pressure. Will people be confident to raise price in a category that's got massive price compression going on? So I think some people won't have the confidence to raise price, so they'll end up eroding margin. So that's going to kill some people. The cost per click and advertising on Amazon is going up all the time. So the sophistication required to do profitable PPC on Amazon is again getting harder. So there are not many operators have got that level of sophistication, which is why we're seeing so many agencies coming up now. So you wrap that all into one, and operating a brand on Amazon, let alone the other marketplaces, is not really a part-time job anymore. There's a real professionalization of the marketplaces happening, and I think that's going to make it. There's an opportunity for the aggregators, because that's effectively what we do. We bring in big teams and we professionalize what we do. But we're not immune to those challenges. I just think aggregators are going to be better able to handle that because of the data they have at hand and the depth and breadth of skill on the bench to work around these things.
Yeah, very interesting. It's certainly, I do agree with all the thing about the agencies popping up with the complexity of successfully managing these Amazon accounts. Very interesting, Jim. Well, look, we'll leave it there. And for anyone watching, if you have any questions, just email me. I can put you in touch with Jim directly. But yeah, thank you again for doing this, and I'm sure we'll do more.
No worries, James. Nice to see you.